Yo, ladies and gentlemen, today is the day you've been waiting for long. I'm with my good brother, Tony Inganji. Welcome, bro.
What's up, man? Good to be here.
Yeah, so how is this studio? Have you seen this studio before?
This is amazing. This is mind-blowing, man.
Bro, this studio is called Wibena Studio.
Yeah?
And Wibena is, man, people have been asking me how do I speak the way I speak. It's just Wibena Institute.
Really?
Yeah!
That's good, man.
Yeah!
I think you should come to Wibena Institute.
Brother, you know this is the place. So you've been waiting for this thing to come, and here we are. We come in a brand new space. We're just here to have a conversation with you. We don't consider ourselves gurus. We're just people who are generous enough to have this feeling of sharing what we have learned and hoping to learn from you as well. And I hope this is going to be a fruitful conversation with you. You will be live with us as you are right now. People are joining us. Thank you for joining us. You will be giving us your suggestions, your comments, your questions, your insights, whatever. We are just not here to teach. We are here to make this environment of exchange and would love to start straight. No bullshitting around. We just need straight points. Brother, we've come up with a topic which I think is really hard because it's an unending journey. And I think some people are joining us today hoping that they will be transformed, hoping that they will leave this place as new creatures. I don't know how you can explain it. And I'm speaking this in a worldview of speaking and motivational speakers. I've been in that industry for long, and I see people coming in, coming out, and mostly people who comes with intention of what they hope to get from. They don't. So I would love, Tony, to drive you in the end so that we may start well. I don't want us to start. I just want us to end. So where do you hope that people will get at the end of this conversation?
At the end of this conversation, my deepest desire is that whoever is following us today will understand the steps, the flow from transformation to change and from change to transformation, both ways. Just like any other creature or even us, we as human beings, like today we're in our mother's wombs to today where I am after 2 decades. There's been change and there's been transformation. So I want people who are following us here today to understand the flow and how they can do it intentionally. Because sometimes, change is inevitable in this world. So sometimes it happens to us without our consent and we don't take charge of it. So I want the people who are following us today to understand how they can do it intentionally and maximize out of it, the best out of it.
Yeah. I think intention is a big point.
Sure.
Because we live in a crazy world where we're driven in a way that we ourselves, we don't actually know. And I think when you come to consciousness of actually realizing every single thing that you're doing to becoming, it's awakening, brother. It's real religion.
It is.
I think we preach the wrong message. The message that we should be preaching is not to illuminate them out of them, but inside of them. So that whatever that we do, brother, I love to think in a very different way. Back in time, I remember when I was with my brother. I call him brother because I don't like mentee and mentor language, but he was asking me, how do you set your goals? And I laughed. The reason why I laughed is I was freed from setting goal long ago. I tell you why, because I don't know about you, but I've been this person who's very much committed in actually setting goals and knowing the predictability of everything that happens to me. It was not until when I realized that I can't make everything predictable. Things happen, shit happen. And I told him something very powerful that I think I would love to start this with, because you people following us, this is much, but it's not an interview. We're just having a conversation, two people in the same place, and we have a lot of people here online, and we are hoping to learn from you as well. So I told him I was freed from goals long ago, and he told me, then how do you measure your life? A very good question. I said, I have replaced the goals with systems. I said, I'm no longer this person who thinks in a predictable manners. I think in systems. And he told me, hey, what is the difference between goals and system, and why should I consider systems over goals? I remember the whole conversation. I just told him, hey, goals cage you, but systems, they free you up. He said, okay. And I went somewhere deeper, because I think the reason why I'm starting here, I believe that we should actually think about the things that we don't think about. And many times you think that we think about them, but we don't. And he kept asking me questions about systems. And I want to start there, because I think most of the people are frustrated, not because they are not achieving, but because of their intentions. It's not that they are not progressing, it's what they hoped to progress in. And I told him, I think systems is not a definite thing. When you set a goal for yourself, it's something that you either achieve or you don't. It's that simple and that straight.
Sure.
But systems is not more about achieving. It's about making yourself available for luck to pick you in the manner that you did what you intended to do.
Sure.
I'll give you an example. If I say I want to lose 20 pounds, that's a goal. If I say I'm going to eat right, it's a system. If I say I'll run a marathon in 4 hours, that's a goal. But if I say I will exercise regularly, it's a system. So simply put, for me, goals is very definite and straight, but systems are much more of what you do regularly and making sure that you're progressing in the way of actually transforming yourself into that person that you wish to be. So I would love you to walk us through, because you said so. I just gave my perspective. Where do you think a person should start from in a transformational journey? Myself, I'm starting with systems. I'm learning every single day. I'm putting systems in place to govern the way I do things and the way I think about things. Every single thing that I believe will contribute to my own transformation. So, brother, where would you love to start us from?
You mentioned a couple of stuff. Some of them that gave me chills, and I wanted to stop here and say something.
Okay.
I love the fact that we have the same mind. Now, I quit setting my goals about 18 months now ago. And for the same reason. You know, when you're setting a goal, people who are following us should understand this. Goals, a right goal, systematically, has to be SMART. The acronym SMART, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic and time bound. And I love everything that is in the SMART acronym, but I hate one R, which is realistic.
Got there.
You and I, we're entrepreneurs. We have some entrepreneurs here. We have some people who are ambitious. They have big ambitions. If I am to come to you with your big ambitions, say, for example, if you're to go to Mark Zuckerberg 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and tell him, I want your goal of creating Facebook to be realistic, what would he have created? Facebook 12 years ago was nowhere realistic in this world. If you want to set your goals and be realistic, you're going to set goals according to what you have in place, what you know, what people around you have gone through with their experiences. While I'm setting my goals, I want to create something that has never been around. That's the space I'm coming from. I want to create something for myself because it's just mine. And I love the fact that you said, talked about systems, because as you said, if you want to lose 20 pounds or 20 kilograms, and that's your goal in 3 months, and by the end of 3 months, you've only lost, say, 12. Scientifically, you've lost your goal, but you've achieved. You're no longer 70, you're now 68.
Preach.
Make sense?
Hey.
So now, if what I would rather do instead of, this is about the infinite and infinite mindset.
Yeah.
What I would rather do is say, I want to go there. By the way, this is the difference between strategy and planning. Strategy is, I want to go to town.
Yes.
I don't know whether when I reach there, it will be rainy or sunshine.
Yeah.
What I know is I'm going to town and I use this route. And when I get there, I want to go to a hotel. No matter where it's 3 stars, it has air conditioning. That's strategy.
Yeah.
Planners say, I want to go to town. I'll use conversion road. When I reach there, it will be sunshine. This is why I tell entrepreneurs not to make business plans.
Yeah.
Because in your business plan, you make funds and you say you're going to sell it at 300,000. When you take it to the market, the buyer wants it at 200.
Yeah.
What do? Your business plan is a flop. Yeah. So this is why I think what you just said is very important. People should always focus on systems to create the goals, but not the goals. Yeah.
I think this is going to be a very long conversation than I thought.
Indeed.
As we're just saying, I was thinking a lot of things in my mind. And I have to put it in a very simple way for our people to understand what we are actually saying. We're not saying that goals are worthless.
Yeah.
We're just saying that maybe there is a better way.
Exactly.
Yeah, because myself, I've been trying for long, since I was introduced to the goal system, the goal perspective, I mean, and they have never worked for me. But what you just said opened my eyes. They did. It is just that my intentions were not met. My expectations were not met, but I was not the same person.
Yeah.
And I think for people who are actually following us, the best way to start this conversation is for themselves to not think as they have not been transformed.
Yeah.
Every single day, you're being transformed. And I would love us to make this somehow practical.
Yeah.
And think about ourselves and think about who we were.
Yeah.
And see the transformation that actually happened.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, many times when I actually evaluate myself, I found myself magical. I just don't know how. Because I think the person I was in 2019, man, is not the same person.
Yeah.
It's not the same person.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. It's because I don't know if we were to go there, but I'll say it's because of the errors, the mistakes, and the biggest errors that I've committed are of omission, not commission. It's the things that I shouldn't have done, that I didn't do, than the things that I did that I shouldn't do. I think the more I went through that process, I actually started to realize that I don't have to be the person that I thought that I should be. I just have to be the person that I'm becoming. I would argue on this statement, but reality will still prove me. Because many times we fight to be something that we think. And we forget the very critical part of our lives, which is who we are. And there is the undeniable fact of the person you are. And the transitioning process is not about becoming someone new. It's about leveling up your game every single day. It's about people meeting you the next day and find you better than the previous one. I don't think if you feel me. So maybe people are following us. They think they have to be someone really different. But what you actually need is to become better. I think, brother, I don't know if I have the credit to say this or the copyright. I don't know which language. But I can claim that I know the formula for success. I can claim. And I would say for myself, success is really simple. We just make it complex. Every single time you acquire a skill, you level up a skill, you're adding up chances of the odds to succeed. That's my thinking. I don't think it's something magical. It's something that takes I won't call it full involvement, because luck is really involved in part of success. So I would really love to just drive your perspective in terms of how do you think transformation? Which transformation are you actually talking about? Because that is what we are here for. We're just here to see how can we be transformed. What is transformation in your mind?
Before I answer that question, you mentioned something that the way you were last year is way different to where you are today. And you credit most of that improvement or change to your errors. It's so important people listen to this. If you remove the struggle from the success, you lose character. If and sometimes our biggest opportunities and our biggest the things that we boast about today, or almost all the time in our lives, happen in the moment that they shouldn't have happened. We go back to the Bible. When David was left home as a shepherd, young shepherd, looking after his father's goats and sheep, and the brothers went to the war. What happened? He went to the brothers to check on how they were, and then when he reached there, he did something that he shouldn't have done, which is going to fight Goliath. He shouldn't have done that in the first place. His homework was to deliver food, get their greetings, then bring them back to the father. What he did, he went and fought Goliath. That was a mistake. It was an error, right? But that was his beginning of the journey for his leadership.
That was his promotion.
Make sense? So the moment you remove the errors from your success, you lose character. And the moment he fought Goliath and killed him, and instead of getting all the rewards that he was promised, he started running and they were chasing him. That's how he met Jonathan. We know the whole story. So I strongly believe that everything that we do, and it turns out to be a mistake or a disappointment, it shapes who we are. The moment I'll be in a position where I'll lead thousands of people, I'll know how to deal with a person who is in success. I'll know how to deal with a person who's struggling. I'll know how to deal with a person who's going through disappointment. You get me? Because I've been there before. So now, what you just said, that how does transformation start? For a fact, is yesterday in the video I posted about today, the second point I gave is that change is inevitable. Today I want to make a second point and say change hurts.
Yes.
It definitely hurts. Before, in March this year, we were all used to this normal way of operations, right? Then we were told to stay home because of the COVID-19.
Yes.
Right? Many people were hurt. Many jobs were lost. Some families were struggling, and today are still struggling. It was change. But the moment you identify change, the key to surviving change is not fighting it, but outlasting it. So you have to find a way to outlast the change. So for example, if I have a tree, a big tree in my backyard, and I have to cut it down, and every day I give myself a goal of cutting down the tree, but hitting the tree with an axe 5 times every day. And I do it for maybe 2 years. Eventually, what will happen to the tree? It will fall down because I've been cutting it. It hurts to wake up every morning, pick up my axe and hit the tree. It hurts. But the moment you know what you want, for a fact is we all have where we want to be. And I know for sure what you just said. I know there's a person I want to become. What I have to do is to make sure that every single day I'm moving towards to becoming that person. That's why every day I sit down and say, yes, I am that person. Because it's a process of becoming. It's not a goal that I want to achieve in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years to come. It's a process. Every single day I have to become that person.
Brother, you said something about David.
Yeah.
And you said you actually had an emphasis on the word should. He shouldn't have.
Yes.
And I think most of us, we don't think about the word should. It's a very powerful word, I tell you. In my whole world, I think shouldn't limit could. Should is a question of status, but could is a question of capability.
Yeah.
And many times the shoulds are from the society. Viti said it best. He said society is a system of normalized averages.
Yeah.
And I think we're not talking about becoming average, because you are.
Yeah.
Why would we bother?
Yeah.
We're talking about excellence. Going back to David's story, I think most of us, we miss it in context. I'll tell you, I love context.
Yeah.
Because content is just thoughts. Yeah. But now context is the view of the thoughts. You're viewing them.
True.
Naked as they are.
Yeah.
I think if I go back into David's time, I would be really, really frustrated. Why? I just killed the giant. And later on, I'm promised to be a king. Moreover, over being promised, I'm anointed, brother, to be the king.
Yeah.
I have the anointing on me. I just know because the prophet who anointed.
That was Samuel, right?
The former.
Yeah.
He's the same prophet who anointed me.
Yeah.
And here I am with my anointings. I'm just running around in the bush.
Yeah.
I think many of us, we think that anointing comes with position. And it's really a trap that we should be conscious of. Because just because you are destined to be it, it doesn't mean that you have to be it in an instant. There is a transitioning process and I think we should be very, very grateful of the transitioning, because it awakens us. It actually prepares us so that by the time you're sitting on the chair, we just know. So speaking in terms of this perspective that we brought the conversation into, from systems into actually seeing these thoughts that we've been talking about, brother, I would love us to go in the practical realm of seeing now, because I think we should link the word potential to success.
Yeah.
If potential is not leading you to success, I don't know just what you're exercising.
Yeah.
So in which perspective do you think success, and how do you actually connect the two? From potential we're talking about and success, how do they match? What is the in process? Because myself, I think potential is not out. It's in, but not revealed yet, or not experienced yet. And it's the fuel that is driving us towards the success. So what is the process in between? How do the two actually collide?
Talking about change and transformation, I just want to give a practical example. I love that now we're into practical.
Yeah.
We see a figure in the Bible who was not famous before, but became the anchor of our gospel today. That is Paul. Paul was initially Saul.
Yes.
Transformation is how, change is how David came to be from a shepherd to a king. That's change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Transformation is how Saul became Paul.
Hey.
Saul was anti-Christianity, anti the church. He used to persecute these people. And then the process of transformation, when he becomes Paul, there's a line in the Bible, I don't remember where it is, in his writings. He said, the things that I used to do,
I do them no more.
I do them not.
Yeah.
But it's a process. If you want to be excellent, you have to be consistent. Before you're consistent, you have to educate yourself. So for example, I'll give you an example. This morning I was reading on some news about what's happening in Nigeria.
Yeah.
The NSAS campaign.
Yeah.
And then they were requesting the influencers.
Yeah.
The influencers of Nigeria to take part in the NSAS campaign.
Okay.
Then VT commented and said, before you comment or you get involved in a certain pro-human whatever campaign, you have to first educate yourself. You shouldn't go as an ignorant person. Yeah. So before you're consistent, so that you move to the excellency, you have to educate yourself and study yourself. Paul was an elite, that's why God chose him. So you have to, Miles Monroe used to say that the worst fear he has is not death, but living life without a purpose. You have to identify why you're here in this country. Yesterday, true story, my sister was asking me, I want to know and ask God, why was I born in Rwanda with this family, with these siblings, with this height, with this face? She wants to understand. So the moment, we normally have this question, who am I and where am I from? It's a simple question, but people take it literally. But it's a deep question. The moment you don't know why you're on this earth, why I, Tony, was born random, went to the schools I went to, was born in a family that I was born in, and I'm here sitting with you today. The moment I don't know that, then I can't be consistently doing what I want to do to become excellent. So before you strive for excellence, which is what we strive for, you got to be consistent. Before you're consistent, you have to know yourself. Study your craft. Know what you're fighting for. It's like Mandela said, it's like pick a struggle and fight a struggle. That was what Mandela's words. That's why he went. I said it on my previous show on KC2. I said, these leaders that we say they were selfless, the Mahatma Gandhi, take me to jail. Martin Luther King, take me to jail 5 times. Mandela, 27 years in prison. We say they were selfless, but I think they were selfish. If I'm too selfish to my coat, my jacket, and you want to take it away, I'll do anything that I have to so that you don't take it away. These people that we admire were so selfish to their cause. But the key point here is cause. They knew their cause, they knew their purpose was to deliver these people, to end apartheid. The case of South Africa. So he was so sold into his cause that nothing, even jail for 27 years, even being shot down, was not a thing for him to go. I would rather have discipline instead of motivation. He talked about people who run the marathon. Before Kipchoge ran the marathon in below 2 hours. Before it was 2 hours 13, and he set a new world record. He ran it before, below 2 hours. Of course, the interview was going to him, the radio presenters, and he said, I've been training every single day for 8 months. That's the discipline. Along the 8 months, new runners were born. Some of them missed maybe a day. Maybe when it's raining, I don't train. If there's sun, I don't train. But he kept the discipline because he knew what he wanted to achieve. So to me, I strongly believe to these people, some of us are always trying new things every day. And each thing that you start, it's a new journey, and you want to achieve and get the best out of it. So what I think is the best thing to do is to set that discipline. It hurts, but you have people who go to the gym, physical fitness, bodybuilders. When you go to the gym, the trainer tells you, the moment your muscles start to hurt, maybe you're doing push-ups, and your back starts to hurt, that's where the real work starts. So you either have to choose the emotion or the progress. Just like Viti said. So you can't have both. If it hurts, most people quit. Ericsson, the one who formed who formed the bulbs. The bulbs tried how many times?
We're told so
many times. What if you had stopped on 10? How many of us stop trying things that we're trying to make them work out? Maybe on 1,000 or 100. But you have to keep that momentum and the discipline for you to get to where you want to be.
Brother, what you're just saying, it makes a lot of sense. I would just love to flip the idea the other way around. And I think you're talking so much about the idea of persistence and consistency. Myself, I'm just bringing it in another way. Because I think we're just talking one side, there is also another side. Persistence is really crucial and critical to achieving, but we shouldn't be idiots about persistence. I'll tell you why. Many times, success is trapped in quitting. I love to think myself as a quitter. the reasons why I am where I am is because I did a lot of decisions about quitting some things. You remember, well, this night we were together, someone called me and told me something that we can do. You remember what I said about architecture? I said no.
Yeah.
So I think we have these people who are in this line of trying and having the persistence to keep it up, but we also have people whom I wouldn't find another name for them, but to actually think them in terms of there is a very big difference between trying and pushing. I think trying is considering new ways, but pushing is actually remaining stand to the one thing.
Yeah.
And many of us, pushing never works for us, but we keep up because we're sold to the idea of persistence. So I would also love to flip the other side round. Sometimes what you need is not to keep on, but to quit.
Yeah.
And start something new.
I agree with you.
I wouldn't say new I just love to define metrics.
Yeah.
For me, new is not about something that has never been done before. It's about bringing something that has been done in just a way that people have never seen it. I was arguing the last day with my partner about the phone invention. I said it was not an innovation. The first phone was not. They just took the pigeon and they turned it to something that we can carry. Because we had pigeons flying with messages.
Yeah.
The person who came up with the phone, he just brought a pigeon we can carry, we can charge, whatever. So it's when you look into the new things, you will miss a lot of things.
Yeah.
So speaking about this space now, we are into people doing things, people trying things, people trying to actually stand up. I would love us now to say, now in a way of standing up and trying and whatever. So our topic is maximizing and exploiting. So the two are into the topic. Now, how does the maximization point come about? We'll just in which way, how do you actually maximize? Because I think we have a lot of things that we're doing on a minimum that if we maximize, we don't need anything else. So the maximization point, how do you bring it into now the topic? How the person doing something, now maximization. How would you love to bring it into the picture as well?
It's commitment.
Yeah.
It's commitment. Before I go there, I just want to say, man, quitting is good. I quit all the time.
Yes.
But it depends. The difference is what do you quit and when do you quit. That's the only difference. So the question to do with maximizing is commitment. So for example, if you're dating, you're having a girlfriend, and then you decide to switch gears, and then you say, I'm going to make her my fiance. Then you put a ring on it. You engage her. Not marriage. You just engage her. What have you done? You've increased your level of commitment, and you're maximizing her security and confidence in you. Make sense?
Sure.
And then 8 months down the road, you decide, I want to take it to the next level. Let me propose her for marriage. And then you switch gears. It's like when you're driving a car, when you over rev the spin, you have to switch gears, then it comes back down. Then you bring it back up. You switch gears. So you decide, let's go in for marriage. Let's go in for marriage. What have you done? Now you've not only convinced her, but you're taking it to the family level. So you're maximizing every single thing that she has. Be it her heart, her confidence, her work, her family, and her friends. Make sense? Before, when you were dating her, it was just you and her. Maybe even the friends didn't know you. Maybe even the mother didn't know you. Even the father, maybe. They didn't know you. Maybe just the sisters knew you. When the moment you increase the commitment, the more you maximize these resources around you.
I think it's a very good perspective to think in terms of maximization into actually commitment. Because I think what we lack the most is commitment. The other day I was talking to my friend. I said we just lack what I said in the language of seriousness.
Yeah.
But our interpretation is commitment. They actually do some softwares and this stuff. Yeah. And I said, how many times you meet people and then you introduce them to yourself? And he said, it's rare. It's when that is the purpose of our meeting. But now connecting these two, the commitment part and the maximum part, it's kind of tricky. I would love just to think, to broaden this thought and see what we can expand in there. Because I think, man, commitment is a very sweet language, but it's hard. It's hard. Especially when your commitment and the payoff is, there is a very huge gap.
It's imbalanced.
Yes, it's imbalanced. So, and driving back to the point where we started from, I just think that we need to drive it home, saying that this commitment, when you're actually trying to commit to achieving something, in terms of goals, I would say, if you're hoping to achieve it someday, that is a goal. But if you're doing something to increase your odds of achieving, that's a system. So when we connect the two, commitment comes into the picture, not because of the achieving part, but because of the doing part. And the reason why I'm introducing this thing is because we have people out here trying the achieving part, and it's hard. But the doing part, they're doing it. So connecting this part of maximization, exploitation, potential, and becoming, it's a very huge topic. So now what I would love us to do is to connect the four into the one. So starting from the maximization, we just brought it in a way of commitment. So transformation, we just said about transformation and change and how the two works. In the becoming part is just now where we're heading. So what is the becoming process in your whole mind?
The becoming process, I think I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. It's a process. And it being a process, it needs a discipline for you to see it through.
So the becoming part is a process. Now, how do you keep track of the process?
Discipline. You have to maintain your discipline. You have to maintain your discipline from the moment you decide to do it and the moment you achieve what you think you have achieved or what you wanted to achieve.
So now it's like we are now flying. Okay, we are into some new spaces. We'll just chunk it down for the sake of people following us through. So far, if we were to actually say that we've talked about the four into one, so let's connect the whole part. And I think we'll switch now to see where is the
reaction.
So it's just to lay the common understanding here so that we may now go through their questions, reactions, and whatever, so that we can have the interactive part later. So let's bring the four into one. So far, the maximization, the transformation, the becoming, and the potential into one.
What's your say on it?
It's just bring them together. Now, I remember that we talked about maximization in terms of consistency. So how do we now take these four and then we mash them together for a person to have an idea of what is it that we lay down here? In terms of transformation, I think it now as matching the two. The part of doing, which we said earlier, and the part of getting better at what you're doing. That's what comes as transformation. I'm exercising, I'm getting better at exercising, I'm being transformed. So becoming is a byproduct of the three in my whole mind. If I'm doing, if I'm getting better, I'm being transformed, so I am becoming.
Sure.
That's in my old house.
I love the fact that you said and talked about lens. You know, Confucius said that whether you think you can and whether you think you can't,
you're right.
You're right. It's the lens that you use, you choose to.
Yes, to view things into.
There's a story. I love this story.
Yes.
Two sons were called in. They were twins.
Yes.
Of the same father and the same mother. So they were called in for an interview. Yeah. Their father had passed away due to he was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Drinking problem. So he passed away. So they called in the first son. They were like, why is it that you were born of a drunkard? Your father died because of alcohol and you know it. Why is it that you drink? And then the son said, because I was born and raised by a drunkard. They called in the second twin. They asked him, you were born and raised by a drunkard. Why is it that you don't drink? Then he said, because I was born and raised by a drunkard. They're both right. So me being born and raised by a drunkard, I can choose to drink or not to drink. And both reasons are valid.
Yes.
So it's all about the lens.
And the source is the same.
The source is still the same, 100%. This is why they say that all the excuses that you have for not succeeding or succeeding, they're valid. But you have to choose the emotions or the progress.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So can we look through
sure.
The live discussions if you're on? Yeah. I think so far we've just laid down the whole understanding of the four, and we try to connect the four. So, brother, we just said different stuffs.
Yeah.
From potential, from transformation, from becoming. And I think all of them are really nice thoughts. But now the question someone has is, where do I start from? Yeah. So that is the question we're going to answer. Where do I start from? So now what? That is the question. Now what? I have been this person. Now what? I just had this conversation. Now what? I'm starting my own things. Now what? I'm lacking confidence. Now what? So now what?
I think that question has to be answered to an individual level, to a personal level. Now that you've started, you have to understand first in the first place where you started. So the moment you start and you stuck, it's up to you to decide and answer yourself. Go back to the cause of you starting. That's when you answer the now what. It has happened. Now what?
Yes.
But maybe just to put some cream on the cake.
Yeah.
Is as on your journey, understand that failure is part of the journey. One day I was with my uncle in the car as we were driving, and he was asking me some questions, and I told him here it failed, I failed here, I failed here. Yeah. Then he gave me a very nice thought that I want you to take home. He says, always be flexible, just like water.
Yes.
True story. I believe that my uncle is on this platform because he was asking me earlier about this show. True story, he told me you have to be flexible just like water.
Yes.
What happens when water is flowing in this direction and it meets a rock? What will happen? The water will disperse, then separate, then rejoin here and then flow.
Yeah.
Or it meets a tree, it won't stop the water, but it will separate, then rejoin at the end. So you have to be that flexible. When you're in your journey, it won't be a smooth path. You always meet obstacles. But when you meet obstacles, be flexible to disperse and then rejoin in later on. You don't have to stand and cry over your shoulders or your mama's shoulders.
Yeah. I think it's a good food for thoughts, because I hate the idea of predictability.
Yeah.
Thinking in terms of what happens is what I knew would have happened. Life is a very different way than just your predictability mode. So we are just wrapping up this for us to actually leave this space. I'm thinking about the message to live with these people. We just said, here, we moved here, we went there. I'm just thinking about the message to live with these people.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find any better message to live with them than the word embrace. I think my final message will be embracing.
Yeah.
Embracing is a very beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Most of the things that we are actually anxious about are the things that happened, but we didn't embrace that it happened.
Yeah.
As a fact, you can't change a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't.
Mm-hmm.
But when the embracing part comes in, you actually now think yourself not as someone who is just here and knowing every single thing that has to happen. You're just a living experience.
Yeah.
And your part now switches from expectations and kicks in the mode of embracement.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have expectations.
Yeah.
We should. We just need to know that things happen.
Mm-hmm.
So my thoughts that I would leave on this table on the transformation part is to embrace.
Yeah.
Embrace the transformation. It's hard, but it's. I'll tell you. Lastly, my biggest motivation has been the worst scenario.
Yeah.
I don't think myself in best scenarios like having this thing. No, I think what if I'm in the situation where I just can't put food on table? So that is what actually kicks into my active involvement into the becoming part, because the worst is my best. Yeah. So I would just give you space to throw your message that you would leave for this audience, and then we wrap up the conversation.
Yeah, I think my message is just similar to what you just said. It's what I just said.
Yeah.
Always be flexible. Prepare for the worst and expect the best. And then number 2, I think for the IG live, we've gone past time. I think the live is over, but we still have. Then always be authentic to yourself. We're sitting here, me and you.
Yeah.
We're talking about all these things.
Yeah.
For a fact, I really thank God. I think it's a blessing that I know what I know in my time and have the ability and the platform to share it. Just like you do.
Yeah.
So I don't want people to be fooled by this idea of us here in suits, in black chairs, and think everything is okay with us.
Yeah.
Or we don't have any problem.
Yeah.
Each and everybody of us is struggling.
Sure.
So the moment you identify, change is not a big problem, or trouble, tough times.
Yeah.
Tough times are not a big problem. What is worse is to live through the troubles with yesterday's thought and logic. So the moment you understand that I'm sick, that's the first step to the journey of recovery. So be authentic with yourself. You know where you stand today.
Yeah.
I know where I stand. Each and everybody who's listening to us, they know where they stand. But sometimes we don't want to be authentic to ourselves. I want to show you where I want you to know that I am. Yeah?
Yeah.
But in the real life, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
The moment, I love using biblical examples.
Yeah.
Jesus approaches Peter the first time they meet. Jesus is like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
What does Peter say? I'm broke. I've been here for the whole night. I haven't caught a fish. That's being authentic.
Yeah.
Deep down to your core. Be authentic to yourself.
Yeah.
And then the moment he identified his problem to Jesus, it would have been very possible that Peter would have told him, yeah, man, I'm doing good. I'm all right.
Yeah.
Jesus would have moved to the next fisherman. But he told him, I'm struggling, man.
Yeah.
I need help.
Yeah.
What's the next thing that happens? He tells him, throw your net on the right. Yeah. And then he has a full net. Because he was authentic.
Yes.
So each and everyone who's following us, even this is a law that I live by. I have to always be authentic with myself and then know what to do from where I stand at the moment.
I think we were wrapping up the conversation.
Yeah.
But what you just said raised something that I wouldn't leave without saying.
Yeah.
Most of the people, they love to see people doing the things rather than them doing the things. I was actually looking through the statistics of YouTube and YouTubers. And I found that 96% of the people who are on YouTube have never posted a content. You know why? We are afraid. We are afraid to be criticized.
Yeah.
We're afraid that we may have got it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're afraid that our idea may not be as brilliant as we thought.
Yeah.
We're very skeptical. And this skepticism that we have kicks in, and we actually interpret it as being perfectionist.
Yeah.
Most of the people you'll talk with, they tell you we are working on this thing.
Yeah.
For how long? They just don't know.
Nobody knows.
And they think they're perfectionists, but the real feeling is fear. They're afraid. So I would really not leave this space without pinpointing this thing. It's not about getting it right. It's not about that. Nothing we got right the first time. I just saw this, the first thing sucks. So I would really love to introduce this thing of getting started.
Yeah.
Raising your hand and say, here I am.
Yes.
This is what I stand for.
Yes.
This is what I do.
Yes.
If this is not for you, I have no problem.
Yeah.
Everybody don't need to be my people.
Yeah.
I just have my people.
Yeah.
So the idea of getting started with something is perhaps the most powerful thing I've ever had. You just said it, you laugh, and even to say, you say this world will not be changed by ideas, but ideas executed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it couldn't be any true. We have people sitting on gold mines and mining sand.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you start as in a motivational way. I'm saying start in a personal way. If you want to realize who you can really be, get started with something that will expose you to yourself. So I would leave this space with this thought. Next time we meet, be working on something.
Yeah. Yeah.
The very first worst thing in life is to be working on literally nothing.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because the moment you say, this is what I do, the chance that you have over the person who is not raising the hand is that now you have people actually know you by what they can need from you. So most of the time why we're struggling is because people don't need you. And it's not that they don't need you, it's they think they don't need you because you didn't introduce them to who you are.
Yeah.
So the part which is critical to transformation and connecting your potential to your success is you.
People don't actually need you, they need what you can do.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So, buddies, get started.
Yeah,
get started. So we're wrapping up the conversation. This space we've been into, as we just started saying, it's Webena Institute. We are actually not telling story. We are creating stories. We are transforming lives through language, through perspective, and I think it's time to be part of this. So next time, stay tuned. We're here. This is the beginning. See you next time. Bye bye. So it's a pleasure to connect with you. Until next time.